And for an update on this story, we are joined by DD India correspondent Megumi Lim, who joins us from Kiev. Megumi, Russia has stepped up retaliatory attacks. Have parts of Ukraine, including Kiev, been put on alert?
So far, no, Kiev has not come under any air raid alerts, but we'll see if this remains the case in the coming days. But as you mentioned earlier, we've already seen retaliatory attacks elsewhere in Ukraine, where Russia launched a missile attack against the city, the town of Kostiantynivka in Ukraine's eastern Donetsk region. According to regional authorities, a supermarket was struck by a Russian Kh missile there today, and also a freight department of Nova Pochta, which is Ukraine's largest private postal company, was also damaged. Now, so far we're seeing the death toll increasing since the attack took place. At least 10 people have been killed and at least 35 people have been injured, and the number of casualties are expected to rise as rescue operations are ongoing. People are still believed to be trapped under the rubble. Now, President Zelensky today condemned this attack. He wrote on his Telegram channel that Russia will be held responsible for this terror. We have been seeing videos published by Ukrainian officials showing plumes of black smoke rising from this supermarket, mangled window frames and door frames, and walls just collapsed out onto the parking lot, and it has been a devastating attack indeed. And cities like Kostiantynivka, just like many other cities and settlements in Ukraine's eastern Donetsk region, has been coming under regular attacks because of its proximity to the front lines. Kostiantynivka itself is located only 13 kilometers from areas of active combat, and with Russian forces advancing in the east, settlements and towns like Kostiantynivka will be coming under more shelling and more air attacks in the future.
Megumi, the U.S. says that it does not support long-range attacks into Russia. How much support, from allies does Ukraine's battle tactics have currently?
Well, that's right. The United States has not lifted the ban for Kiev to use any of its U.S.-supplied long-range weapons like the ATACMS to strike at military targets inside Russia, but it has repeatedly voiced support for towards Ukraine's right to defend itself, and this was reflected in a policy change in May, where both the United States and Germany did lift some restrictions on certain types of weapons that Kiev may use to strike at targets, military targets inside Russian territory. Now, the conditions were that these objects, Russian objects or targets, had to be used by Russian forces to mount attacks against Ukraine, which means basically only military targets, and the area that Ukraine was allowed to strike was areas that are close to the border with Ukraine, particularly near the Kharkiv region. This was in response to a major ground offensive that Russia launched in the Kharkiv region in May of this year. Now, this offensive did stretch Ukraine's already depleted troops and resources, but this policy change did help Ukrainian troops push back Russian forces and stop their advances. Now, in terms of this current ongoing Kursk incursion, where Ukrainian forces rolled into Russian territory, we have been seeing reports that Ukraine has used U.S. and German-supplied tanks and vehicles to enter Russia. And in response to this, the Biden administration and Germany has said that it supported Ukraine's decision, and the United States has said that this incursion is in line with U.S. policy.
Megumi Lim in Kiev, thanks very much.